परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. So today Gita we shall discuss little bit Om Narayana. In the 5th chapter we were discussing that last shloka, almost last shloka. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam. Okay. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam yatachetasam abhito brahma nirvanam vartate viditatmanam. He is describing the nature of an enlightened man. Describing the nature of enlightened man, he concludes with this. It is a conclusive shloka. We discussed one or two words of it. Kama krodha viyuktanam yatinam. 2 points we discussed. Kama krodha viyuktanam. This we have already stated. He is an enlightened person. How is he? He is viyukta, disconnected. Viyukta literally means that he is disconnected. He is disconnected with kama and krodha. Earlier, just a minute. Earlier in the which shloka? Yes, showed 23rd. Now this is a 26th shloka. Earlier, previously in the 23rd shloka, Shaknoti haiva yassodhum praksharira vimokshanat kamakrodod bhavam vegam sayuktas sukhi naraha. He was told to endure, not to endure, what to say, to control the pressure of desire. Kama krodod bhavam vegam. The pressure born of desire and anger. Pressure means a person feels a pressure by a desire and anger. Anger and desire, when they are born in our mind, they pressurize us to act in a particular way. Earlier in that shloka, he was advised to endure. Sodhum means one who can endure the pressure of it. Enduring the pressure means not allowing the expression, not further provoking yourself, not allowing an easy expression to your anger and desire. Though even if the anger and desire is born, immediately in the first step itself, stop it. Don't allow its expression, because anger and desire distort our vision, our understanding. Because all this we discussed elaborately before in the earlier chapters. One who sodum shaknoti, one who is capable of enduring the pressure of anger and desire and anger. That means he should be continuously on his God. That's what Shankaracharya told. One good thing is you have to be continuously on your God. Never slacken. Never take your mind for granted. He was asked to be continuously vigilant. For how long? Eternally. Eternally in the sense, sharira vimokshanat, prak sharira vimokshanat, until the death of the body. That means until the death, you have to be vigilant. The idea is you have to be vigilant always. Don't take it for granted. Don't slacken your hold on your mind continuously vigilant, because any time there could be any situation, there could be any small or big and situation which provokes your anger and desire and anger. Therefore, don't yield to them. That means be relaxed, be prepared for any kind of provocation, be prepared for any provocation from any side, and guard your mind to remain calm and unaffected by those anger and desire. Okay, this was told in the 23rd shloka. We discussed already. Now, in this 26th shloka, he is telling you have to be totally free from anger and desire. Earlier, anger and desires, once they arise in your mind, hold them, control it. Control in the sense, nip in the bud. Don't allow its expression. Don't further worsen it. Don't further aggravate it. If you pursue it, if you slacken, if you leave your mind loose, it gets carried away by anger and desire. He says, don't allow your anger and desire overpower you, control you, and direct you. Don't allow yourself, don't yield to the directions of anger and desire. They decide your direction, your way of action, your way of living. Don't allow it. They try to come, they try to arise in you, but even after arising, try to hold them. Continuously vigilant. Now he says, first thing is, be totally free from the very anger and desire. See the difference. Earlier, the anger and desire which have arisen in your mind, control them. Now he says, never be under their pressure at all. This is possible only when you become completely free from anger and desire. How completely become free? How can one become completely free from kama and krodha? That is only by viditatmanam, he says. He is completely enlightened person, not sadhaka. At sadhaka stage, he has to hold it. But later, when you discover your Atma nature, real nature of Atman, you transcend your nature of individuality, that is jivatvam kartru bhoktru bhava. Then you stand as Chaitanya Matram, then you are free from anger. Because who gets provoked? External objects, situations provoke us, provoke anger or desire in us. That means they influence us. Why do they influence behave? Because they can either attract us or they can irritate us. They can attract us, they can irritate us. How do they come to have a power of attracting us and irritating us? That's because they come in our way. We have some desires, we want to achieve something. When you have a desire for something, naturally that object tempts you, attracts you, and leads you according to, in its direction, towards it. Now you become second hand in the sense you get directed by it, it controls you, it leads you, it decides what you should do. So you lose your freedom of deciding your course of action or your living. Anger, how does anger, if something comes in our way, obstructs in our desire, you get irritated, you get frustrated. Either get frustrated or irritated or anger, all of them mean same. Frustrated, anger. When you see, the frustration and anger are same. When you are frustrated, you are angry with yourself. When you are angry with other. That's all. The only difference is your displeasure is directed with somebody. When you are called angry when you are displeased with others. When you are displeased not with any particular person, but only with the situation in general, you call frustrated, isn't it? Whether frustration, in fact, these are all different degrees of anger: disappointment, frustration, irritation, anger, even hatred. Okay, disappointment to hatred. All these are different degrees of the same reaction. Okay, disappointment, frustrated, irritated, angry, getting angry, then you become, then hate also. Okay, hate and you become violent and all that. So this from disappointment to hate, or all the from disappointment to the hatred, all these are only different variations, degrees of the same reaction. Same reaction. You are disappointed because when you expectation produces a little disappointment, and it's not so severe, you can recover. Later you recover. You just make an auto suggestion. It's okay. You what to call it, you build up your confidence, you make an auto suggestion and you recover. But frustration takes a little longer time. And then irritation, more. And angry, very difficult. And hatred, I think it's very rarely people come out of hatred. We have to go still long way to come out of it. But anyway, all of these are reactions when something obstructs us, obstruct our way of fulfilling our desire. Says Kama Krodha Viyuktanam Yatinam Yatachetasam, 5th chapter, 26th shloka. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. Here the advice compared to the previous 23rd shloka, here it is different. There you were asked to control the anger and desire. Here you say you are be free from anger and desire. This is possible only by jnana. Only by understanding that you are the Atman and the mind and your world and everything is adhyastha, not real for you. To you, you exist as that conscious Atman, to that Atman, this world and worldly relationships, their achievement, their enjoyments, all these things don't mean anything. You are free and you are full on yourself, all by yourself. Such a person who is full and happy all by himself does get neither attracted to them nor get disturbed by them. Neither attracted nor provoked to anger, nor enraged. Let us say enraged. Neither attracted nor enraged. Okay. Earlier, the anger and desires were there, but control them. Don't allow a wild expression of them. Control it and channelize it in a limited way, in a positive way. Okay, in according to dharma. Channelize it according to dharma. Don't allow its adharmic expression, and also beyond certain limits. Use it in a proper channelize it. That was a sadhaka's karma yogi stage. Now here, as a jnana yogi, how does he handle it? That earlier control is a temporary control. Because you can control, you have to be continuously vigilant. There is always a chance of losing your grip over your mind. However you try to maintain your calmness, there is always a chance there might be some much more provocative event, even a dharmically provocative event. But that may provoke you, that may disturb you, even in your sadhana it may disturb. See, people, there are two ways. One is in a worldly people, disturbing is different. Or anyway, let me again repeat, let me take a little time and tell you. People are at three levels. One is people have a desire and want to fulfill it at any cost. These are people, whether dharma, adharma, they just don't bother. I want it, I want to achieve. This is asura paddhati, we call it. Asuric way. Second is people want to fulfill desire according to dharma. These are good people, but still sakamis. Sakamis means have desires, want to fulfill them according to dharma. Third people are karma yogis. They are not sakamis. They don't want to fulfill any worldly or otherworldly desires. Their thing is, their goal is only to maintain the calmness and purity of mind, calmness of mind, and bhakti for Bhagavan, devotion for Bhagavan. Mind should remain in a sattvic, devoted state, and always in a smarana of Bhagavan, awareness of Bhagavan. Okay, so here it is a bhakti, sharanagati, purity, sattvic state of mind, that is a karma yoga and upasaka state. Karma yoga or upasaka state. So disturbance means what? For these three kinds of people, disturbance or slipping down means three different ways. For a dharmic person, he wants to achieve what he wants. It doesn't bother for dharma. Now he gets angry if somebody, an equally powerful person, equally means he himself is an asura, he will go for asuric work only when he has got power. Or when there is nobody to oppose him, he wants to. But if he finds another villain equal to him, more powerful to him, another villain obstructs him, what happens? He gets angry. So if somebody, another villain, another wicked person challenges him, opposes him, disturbs him, he will become further wild. Already he is a selfish man, ignoring dharma, wants to fulfill his desire in an illegal way, illegitimate way. Illegal way, illegitimate way, adharmic way, he wants to fulfill his desire. If somebody obstructs, he will become further wild. Already he is adharmic. He will become violent and then wicked also. Violent and then he will become aggressive. Okay. He slips down to further aggression. A dharmic person who has desires but wants to fulfill according to dharma. Second person. First, third, lowest person we have left out. A second person, he wants to fulfill his desire. What is his way of slipping? He will slip down to anger. That means when he is following dharmic way to fulfill his desire, when somebody obstructs, he gets angry with the person. Then what will that anger do? He has to control the anger. Otherwise, he will give up dharma, slightly slip into adharmic way. A partial adharmic, a partly he will enter into adharmic way. Means illegal way, he may enter into wrong way. Therefore, he has to control his anger so that he remains. Sometimes you require patience. What could be achieved in 1 hour, it may take 4 hours. What could be achieved in 1 day may take 3 days. So he requires a patience, little more effort. Again, he has to pursue it, talk to people, take extra effort, because you require patiently. By sticking to dharma, you have to fulfill your desire. Okay, by sticking to dharma, he fulfills desire, doesn't slip down to adharma. Though your desire pressurizes you, oh, here this time for today, oh, if you go by dharmic way, you are not able to fulfill. The pressure of desire pushes you into adharmic way. Okay. Therefore, he has to guard himself to stick to dharma, though he is desirous of things. Okay, desirous of things and enjoyments. Then the first person, first means we are coming from the lower side. The worst person, that is asuric person, we have explained. For him, there is no slipping. Slipping is further becoming violent. First, himself is in adharmic way. He becomes more adharmic. That means he was committing one papa and he becomes greater papa. When he gets angry, he will do greater papa. That's the only thing. Only difference between less papa and more papa. He was earlier committing one sin, and now if somebody obstructs him, disturbs him, he will become further violent. He will commit a double sin. One mistake, one crime, he will commit a double crime. 2 or 3 crimes he will commit. So if he gets angry, he will commit bigger crime or more crime he will go. That is the lowest person. The middle person is, he will slip from the adharma and go little into, he will slip from path of dharma and slightly, little bit he will take advantage of it, and a part of adharma he will follow because he has no patience. Because he's losing control, he wants to achieve the things in any way, although he's following dharma, but when it gets delayed, you lose patience, and then what happens? You will slip down to adharma and do shortcut and achieve. Okay, here your desire and anger pushes you into out of dharma. Okay, then come into the karma yogi. Karma yogi is supposed to maintain his purity of mind, be free from desire, and have only commitment to Atmajnanam, self-knowledge, or devoted to Bhagavan. Devoted to Bhagavan, he lives in the love, devoted love to Bhagavan, he serves him, doesn't expect anything. He wants to live in that pure state of mind, pure state of in loving, selflessness, and egoless state. He wants to live in that. But that again is a continuously effort. With an effort, he tries to maintain that karma yogi state of purity and love and dedication, devotion to Ishvara. And we want to be selfless, desireless. He wants to carry out all the dharmas just as a service to Bhagavan, selfless service to Bhagavan. In that selfless service, he may slip down. He may slip down and start becoming a little selfish. Okay? So in these three people, one is the lowest man is Asura, middle person is a Sakami person, desirous person, selfish and desirous person. The first person is a karma yogi. These three people tend to slip in their sadhana whenever there is little anger and desire. So whenever anger, desire arise in your mind and try to push you from these three people from their paths, they try to push them into the lower level, they have to guard themselves. Okay, this was stated in the 23rd shloka. I am just contrasting with the 23rd shloka and this present 26th. Kama Krodha Viyuktanam, here he says, see, there are two ways. One is studying Bhagavad Gita, one is studying 3 or 4 shlokas or 5, 7 shlokas together, one set of shloka talking of one topic. First round of Bhagavad Gita is taking one set of shlokas and understanding the basic vision of the shloka. Basic vision of those set of shloka, they give you the basic idea, certain understanding of life and Vedanta and sadhana. Okay, like this, each topic wise, you take a set of shlokas, 3 or 4, sometimes 1, sometimes 3, 4, 5, 7, like that. All these shlokas talk up one topic, one idea. Concentrate on one idea and don't go into details of each shloka. Take up one topic, one idea and try to understand. This is a bare first round of Bhagavad Gita. Second round of Bhagavad Gita, read each shloka and try to understand it in detail. Third round of Bhagavad Gita, not only you read one shloka, you compare and contrast with other shlokas anywhere out of the 18 chapters, out of the 700 shlokas. Compare and contrast. I think I am doing all the 3. That's why my talks go on and on, because I do all the 3. I think a beginner shouldn't do that. But anyway, I think most of my listeners are not very beginners. Beginners try to come and slip away. I say, I'm talking too many details, so they may not be able to bear. And they just leave out. I see some of the people come and just go away. Because I'm talking too many details. So I'm talking the third level, including the first 2. Three rounds of Bhagavad Gita. First is a general understanding. Second is shloka wise. Third wise is more compare, contrast, little more research type. Much more research type. The third level makes you a teacher. You can become teacher also if you study this kind of much more subtle details, compare, contrast and all that. You not only master Gita, you will be able to teach and explain to others also. Okay, first round is good for you, for your own sadhana. Second round of each shloka will help you much more in your detailed sadhana of your manana and nididhyasana. The third one is required for much more subtle sadhana, and also you subtle your nididhyasana as well as prepare you as a teacher to be able to teach others. Okay, these are the 3 rounds. I think any book has to be studied in this way. This is what I feel. 3 ways, 3 rounds of studying. Any book should be studied that way. Naturally, Bhagavad Gita and Upanishads also must be studied that way. Okay, so but I am combining all the 3. If there are 2 beginner, then I may who is not interested in technical details, I may just say the first round. But second round is average, normally people. Third is much more technical. Now you see we are comparing, contrasting with the 23rd shloka. In 23rd, just now I have told you 3 kinds of sadhakas. One is a totally asura, adharmic person, and a dharmic person, and then a karma yogi. There these 3 people were advised not to get provoked by desire and anger. Okay, so that because they have to be continuously on their guard. Now in this way, now you don't have to be on guard. You transcend everything. You stand as Brahman, and then nothing will disturb you. You become totally once for all, once for good. You solve this problem completely. Once for good. Now you cease to be an individual, not even a sadhaka. Sadhakatvam also you dispense with, stand as Brahman. This is the highest step, final step. You stand as Brahman, then your individuality. Even a sadhaka state of karma yogi also transcended, because you by understanding yourself as the sakshi, that means your nature is as you are in deep sleep. Deep sleep means myself, all alone. By understanding yourself as that pure consciousness, I cease to be an individual. Okay. Because as an individual, who is an individual? Identify with the mind. Now first, there is how do you transcend all this and stand as Brahman? Kama krodha viyuktanam. Kama and krodha are reactions in the mind. Okay. Now in mind there are two parts. One is the subjective part, another is instrumental part. Okay, or even 3 you can say. One is a subject, another is an instrument, third is an object. Your mind, when you look at the world, when you think of the world, worldly objects, also you have a thought of the worldly objects. Okay, thought of the worldly objects. The thought of the worldly objects or perception of the worldly objects are called the objective aspect of your mind. Mind itself assumes 3 parts. One is the object, that is the Vishaya. Another is I, the I notion, that is me, the subject, who is a Karta and Bhokta, who is a doer, who is an agent of action and an enjoyer. And also knower, agent of action and enjoyer. Jnata, Karta, Bhokta. Okay. This is a subjective aspect. Another is objective aspect. Second is the in-between mind which reacts to the objects. The reactions, desires, interests, anger. So the anger, desire, interests are your responses to our objective world. Okay. Various objects, your mind, way it reacts. When you find your connection, the subject is connected to object. The Jnatru is related to Gneyam. Bhokta is related to Bhogyam. When the subject is related to object, in this relationship there is a reaction. Sometimes you are satisfied, sometimes you are unhappy. So when you are happy, you want it to continue. When you are unhappy, you react, you get angry, you lose temper and all that. So these reactions are your relationship. Okay. So the mind has got 3 parts. One is the subject, another is object, third is its relationship. The relationship is called reactions. Reaction, connection, or relationship, whatever you call. So you as a subject react to something. What is that something other? The something other has to come to your mind. You cannot react to your money. If suppose you have a money and somebody robbed it, you don't know it, you can't react. That once you come to know, that means it becomes an object of your knowledge. Then you get disturbed and you get angry or frustrated, whatever reaction. So the object has to enter your mind, you become conscious of it. That becomes an object part of your mind. Then the subject part of your mind is yourself, that is myself. Subject is Jnatru, Kartru, Bhoktru in Kannada. Or we can say Jnata, Karta, Bhokta in Sanskrit in general. So Jnata, Karta, Bhokta is myself, the individual subject, and object comes to me only through my awareness of it. When I know, when I think of it, when I know it, it becomes an object. Now my connection between subject and object is my emotional reaction. Whether I am pleased, displeased, angry, disturbed, and all this. So all the three put together are three parts of mind only. All these three are three parts of one mind. One total collective mind we call a wakeful mind. The entire mind. Okay. So Kamakrodha Viyuktanam, how do you apply to Jnani? How Jnani is already free, or a Jnana Yogi Vedantin, a Vedanti who is a Vicharaka, who is investigating, who is doing Vichara, that means who is doing self-enquiry. How does he transcend? Jnani has already transcended and stays as Brahman, remains undisturbed by anger and desire. He becomes totally free from desire and anger. Now, how that Vicharaka, Tattva Vicharaka, how does he transcend? What is that step? Now, he understands that I as a subject is occupy one part of mind. Another part of mind, the objective part of mind, is the thought of the world, thought of the object, the awareness of the object or thought of the object. Whatever you say, it is the same thing. Object is property, money, all this, so many things. So the thought of the object and the subject I am already, and my connection, my reaction, my emotional relationship with it. These three mean Adhyasa. The same Sakshi, the same Chaitanyam, Advitiya Chaitanyam consciousness, when misunderstood under Adhyasa, misunderstanding, same thing. When you are under Adhyasa or when you misunderstand, you appear the same Adhisthana Chaitanyam. The pure non-dual consciousness appears as subject, object, and relationship. Okay, that means you identify with the mind. You identify with the mind. When you identify with the mind, that is called Adhyasa. Consciousness is identified with the mind. Mind is identified with consciousness. Anyonya Adhyasa. Like in Adhyasa Bhashya, we spoke Atman Atmano Ritaretara Adhyasa. There is a mutual superimposition between Atma and Anatma, means between consciousness, Sakshi, and mind. Consciousness and mind are Sakshi and Manaha. How is this Adhyasa? Consciousness and mind. When consciousness is mistaken, it becomes a subject. Subject is a notion of I notion. Then once you misunderstand, mistake Sakshi, witnessing consciousness as individual I, because of mind, because one part of mind is involved there, the thought, one part of mind, consciousness mistaken as one part of mind, subjective part of mind, that then you become a subject. Then the second stage, the same subject identifies with emotional reactions. Okay. And also it identifies with the object of the world. So the object of the world, my connection with the object, and my subjecthood. All these three are part of mind. So the Atma identify with the mind means, identification with the mind means identifying with your subject as a subject. When you identify with a subjective thought, you take I notion. That is a subjecthood. When you identify with your emotions, the reactions, that is a middle part of mind. When you think of the world, that is a third part of mind. You think of the worldly objects as real. You take worldly objects, worldly events as real, as really taking place. That is identification. This is adhyasa of the external world. When you identify with the subject, you assume that you are a subject. You are the karta bhokta. You are a knower and agent of action, and you are an experiencer. Okay. Then the identification or adhyasa with the external object is taking them as really existing. Then the middle portion is reactions. How identification with the reaction, how adhyasa of the emotional reactions. How do you do adhyasa of the emotional take those emotional reactions as pertaining to the subject, because these emotional reactions arise from subject towards the object, because it is the subject, it is the experiencer, it is the knower, it is individual feels those reactions. That is desire and anger. He desires. Desire means what? Subject being related to object. Subject wants the object. That is desire. Desire is a relationship of the subject with the object. Okay. Subject feels deficiency. That I need something. I want something. As a result of my deficiency, I want to get connected with other. I hope, I expect from it that if I achieve that object and enjoy, I become happy. So you hope, you expect, you depend, you imagine, you depend on the object, then your subject gets related to object. Desiring means what? I want it, I expect from it, I want to own it, to possess it and enjoy it. Then hoping that I'll become happy. In possessing it, enjoying it, I become happy. So this way your subject is sense of I notion. That I notion develops a desire. The desire further gets related to object. This you cannot put which is before, which is after. For analyzing, for sake of analyzing, we are talking these three. But in fact, in your experience, all these three are one. Okay, subject, object and connection, all these three are one. You can't see them which is before, which is later. For sake of our analysis, we have to understand this clearly. Otherwise, you start thinking that what is coming before, what is coming later. You don't see which is before, which is later. You find all these three one. So, subject is my sense of individuality. Very individuality feels deficiency. Because of deficiency, I look for something. I want to achieve something, enjoy something in order to overcome my deficiency. Because as an individual jiva, I am deficient. Okay. Therefore, the external object becomes an object of my desire. I hope, I expect, I depend on it. Then that becomes my target. I want to achieve that. Because of my hope in it. Why? Because that might fulfill my desire. That means it has got a capacity to fulfill my desire and make me happy. So this belief that this object makes me happy, this object is so important, this object is really there, capable of fulfilling my desire. This is adhyasa. This is adhyasa in external object. Adhyasa in subject is taking myself to be individual. See, when I take myself to be individual, I become subject. When I strongly believe that external world is there, it promises happiness to me, or it disturbs me, either way. Then you believe that the world is real. I subject is real and world is real. Then the connection is real, because when you take your reactions seriously, desire and anger are real. Because the desire comes from me and I get angry. That means my reactions are real. So all these three reality, subject is real. My being subject is real, my reactions are real, then the objects give me happiness. I hope that they give me happiness. I believe that they give me happiness. I must achieve them. I depend on them. I take for granted that they are the external worldly objects alone give me happiness. There it may differ from person to person. Somebody wants money, somebody wants marriage, somebody wants children, somebody wants power, somebody wants something else, all these things. Respect, somebody wants respect, somebody wants recognition in the world. All these are various objects. Okay, you think that they are capable of making me happy. This is reality, sense of reality. Now, adhyasa means what? This is adhyasa. Myself taking to be subject, and there is an objective world, and I am related to the objective world. Me subject related to the objective world, and through my desire and anger. Either I desire them or I get angry with them, I hate them. Hate is also relationship, connection with the external world. Desire is also connection with the external world. Okay? Subject is related to the external object, either through desire or through hatred. Either through love or through hatred. Whether love or hatred, both are relationship. Love also gives me some happiness. Hate also gives me, because by hating I want to avoid my unhappiness. By love, I hope for happiness. By hating, I want to avoid unhappiness. So these through reactions or relationship, connection of the subject with object. So underlying is Atma. Atma, underlying these three is subject, object and reactions. But that pure consciousness, Atma, is mistaken as these three. Okay? It is mistaken as these three, subject, object and relationship. So this is called adhyasa. By vichara, by self-enquiry, what do? We separate the pure consciousness, pure existence and infinity. Atma's nature is pure existence, consciousness and fullness, infinite happiness. Full happiness. Fullness, the same fullness I am explaining by another word, infinite happiness. Okay, infinite happy and fully secure, no insecurity. Okay, free from, fully free, complete freedom or fullness, fully free or completely happy, either way. Okay, the pure existence, pure consciousness and fully free or completely happy. These three qualities put together is Atma. Okay, this Atma is misunderstood as subject, object and related. That is world. That is waking state. So the Sakshi is misunderstood as the waking world, waking state. Now we have to distinguish between them by vichara. What vichara does is, you try to extract, separate your real nature. Your real nature is existent. Your real existence, your real nature is consciousness. Your real nature is full freedom and complete happiness. Fully free, completely happy. Full freedom, complete happiness is your real nature of Atma. It is misunderstood as subject-object duality. Subject is starving for happiness. Object is promising my happiness. Okay? Subject is starving for happiness. Object is promising, strongly promising happiness. And my reaction is, I want it, a desire. The connection between them, I want it, somehow acquire it, enjoy it. Okay. So these three, desiring subject, desire and desired object. Desire is the subject. Desiring one. I put a desirer, desire and desired. Okay. Desired is object. Desire is connection. Desirer is the subject. I don't know whether such words exist in English. Anyway, for Vedanta, we create many English words because we have to communicate. We create more words. And this is a Vedantic English. We create. So desirer, desire and desired. One who desires, and the desire which is connection, and the object which promises me, seem to promise to me, wow, that object is so interesting, so attractive, I want it, I want to achieve it somehow. It looks highly promising, it is full of happiness, it is a store of happiness and it is attracting me. I've got a strong belief that it gives me. Okay. So the world consisting of these three put together is superimposed upon the Atma. Atma's real nature is, it is pure existence, pure consciousness, and itself is fully happy and fully free. Completely happy and fully free. So this Atma is misunderstood as subject, object, and connection. Now you have to separate it. By self-observation, by observing, so the waking state, in the waking state, observe the consciousness aspect from the rest of the state. So when you observe what happens, the subjecthood, your identification with your mind, three ways of identifying. You identify with object as a promising happiness, identifying with your subject as a knower, as an enjoyer, as an individual. When you identify with subject, you become an individual. When you identify with the connection between subject and object, you have a desire. So, when you become an individual desiring an object, these three put together is my individual state. Okay. The Sakshi is free from individuality, free from desire, free from the external happiness, free from the hope that there is a happiness outside, free from the belief that happiness is other than me, outside me. A Sakshi or Paramatma is free from all these three, free from subject, free from object, free from their connection. That means he is all by himself happy and free and contented. Okay, so this Atma, which is free from all the subject, object, and connection, is misunderstood as subject, object, and connection. Now what we need to do is, we have to separate them in our understanding, because it is a misunderstanding. Adhyasa. Okay, this Adhyasa has made me means the Sakshi me. Adhyasa made the Sakshi me into an individual me connected to the external world as a desiring person. So I have to unburden these. Therefore, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam, he is free from Kama Krodha. That means here he is talking of, we talked of three: subject, object, and connection. Bhagavad Gita shloka says he becomes free from desire. Kama, desire and anger, desire and hatred. That means he is talking of the connection of the subject with the object. Connection of the subject with the object is desire and hatred, desire and anger. So by desire and anger, we should take all the three: subject, object, and their connection. Here shloka is talking of only connection. Desire and anger are connecting link between subject and object. But this connection is possible when connection implies subject and object also. Without subject and object, how can there be desire and anger? Desire and anger implies desirer and desired. Anger and an object of anger. Anger, one who is angry, and object of anger. Desire means subject, one who desires, and object of desire. All the three. Therefore, Kama Krodha should be taken as all the three together. Okay. Now, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam, you are free from desire and anger, means free from this entire state. Free from this set of subject, object, and connection. These three. Set of these three. Subject, object, and their connection. Set of these three, take them as one block. Okay. You try to see what is your real nature. Your real nature is pure existence. This pure existence is underlying the subject, object, and mind. Mind means that connecting desire. Desire is mind. Desire and anger and relationship, reactions is mind. Subject, object, and connection. All these three have a common basis, is a subject. Common basis is consciousness. Common basis is existence. Common basis is consciousness. Common basis is happiness. Infinite happiness, the fullness. So the common basis is Atma, that is Sakshi or Advitiya Chaitanyam. And that is misunderstood as subject, object, and the world. Okay. Now you have to distinguish it. In your understanding, you have to separate it. Okay. So you start watching the wakeful consciousness. Pay attention to consciousness. The waking world is only in thought. Waking world means waking subject, waking object, and waking relationship. Subject, relationship of the subject with the world through your reactions and relations. Reactions and relations. So you want to separate these three, subject, object, and relationship, from the Sakshi, from the pure consciousness which is underlying the entire state. Entire waking state, there are two aspects. One is the consciousness, which is common to all the three. Another is the three. One is the world, another is consciousness. One is the pure existence, another is the changing temporary world. One is the changing world, another is the pure changeless existence. One is pure consciousness, another is the subject, object, and relationship. One is the pure happiness, infinite happiness, another is the tentative happiness, seeker of happiness, object of happiness, and experience of happiness. Okay. So the pure consciousness, pure Atma, is appearing as Triputi. This set of three is called Triputi in Sanskrit, or the state, when we call state and Sakshi. Sakshi and the state. State implies the three put together as one block. So you have to distinguish between the Sakshi and the Triputi. Sakshi or the Sakshi and Avastha. Sakshi and Avastha, you have to distinguish them by observing, by understanding. Okay, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. You become free from desire, means free from individuality, free from... How do you become free? You understand that you are Sakshi, not an individual. Because individual, the subject or individual by his very nature is limited, is deficient. How do I become subject? By identifying with a part of mind. When I identify with mind and body and sense organs, I am so and so. I become an individual. An individual is limited. He's in his identification with the mind, body, and sense organs, he becomes an individual. So this individual is a thought. Probe, observe, examine. In that thought of individuality, there is an eternal aspect, that is consciousness. Another aspect is your sense of individuality. Sense of individuality is a thought, a deficient thought, a desiring thought. Seeking happiness, seeking from the external world. It is related to the external object. So this subject related to the external object, deficient, seeking, longing, missing, that individuality is a false thought upon my consciousness, which is pure and which is infinitely happy. That infinite happiness, which is Atma, is misunderstood as individual. So that individual has to be debunked, dismissed, and by seeing its underlying Sakshi. Underlying Sakshi is self-existing. Like see the pure consciousness in the waking state. In the waking state, the pure consciousness is the Atma, and what is seen within the consciousness is the waking state. State means the subject, object, and relationship. Remove, that means separate that state from the pure consciousness. Stand as consciousness, stand as the Sakshi, and see how the waking state disappears in dream. Watch how the waking state, the waking individuality, waking object, and waking reactions, emotional reactions, all these three set goes away in dream. The dream waking state of three, the subject, object, and relationship. The dream tree is replaced by waking three. Waking 3 is replaced by dream 3, but both of them disappear when you are all alone in deep sleep. All alone, pure Sakshi. Therefore, see that how you are pure Sakshi and you are not an individual, a seeking individual, and waiting and seeing the object as a separate from you. Okay, the object is separate from you. The entire objective world is you. The entire subject is you. The entire subject, entire object, and entire mind, body, mind, and sensor, all this is Sakshi alone, because Sakshi swallows the entire state. First you separate from the state, Second stage, you understand state itself doesn't exist. It is only imagination. It is only a thought alone, inseparable from the pure consciousness, Atma. Okay? This is the way you see. Therefore, Kama Krodha Viyuktanam. It is by, it says the last word of the shloka, Viditatmanam. By understanding that Atma, Vidita means Jnata, known. When the Atma is known, understood, intuited, as the Sakshi is intuited, you cease to be an individual. You cease to be an individual, subject, object, and by being dependent object, being connected to the external world. All these three disappear. Disappear means you become free from them. They are only imagined upon you, and you become free. Therefore, Viditatmanam, one who knows the Atma as non-dual, he becomes free from desire and anger. Yatinam, he renounces. Renounces means he understands that he is not the individual. So that is called a sannyasi, a renunciation. Now 2 words are remaining. Yata chetasam. How does he control? Yata chetasam means one who has the mind under his control. Mind means entire state. Chetas is mind. Yataha, controlled. Yata chetasam, the entire state is under his control. Entire mind. Controlling mind means by understanding it as false. It doesn't exist apart from consciousness. Yata chetasam. And such a person, time is up. Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. Only this much has to be explained. Okay. Remaining shloka is explained. Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate. I think I take 2 minutes and finish it. I think I'll take 2 minutes. Though it's already, time is over. 2 minutes, I'll finish it. So, Abhito Brahma Nirvanam. Such a person finds himself in Nirvana. When? Abhitaha. Abhitaha means in both ways. Before and after. Before the death of the body and after the death of the body. That means whether body is living or unliving doesn't make any difference. Abhitaha. Abhitaha means 2 sides, 2 ways, 2 sides. What are those 2 sides? Before the death of the body and after the death of the body. Brahma Nirvanam. He vartate. See, he doesn't get. He finds himself in Brahma Nirvanam. Nirvanam means moksha. Brahma moksha means attainment of moksha, attainment of Brahman. He finds himself in that attainment of Brahman, that is Purnatvam, wholeness, completeness. Whether the body is present or absent doesn't make any difference for him. Even when the body is present, he is Brahman. Even if body falls off, he is already Brahman. So it doesn't, that means whether body is present or not doesn't make any difference to his being Brahman. So the idea is, he understands, he finds himself to be Brahman, that is pure Ananda and completely pure existence, changeless existence, eternal consciousness and also purely happy. Satchidanandam Brahma. That Brahmatvam he is. He discovers himself to be eternally Brahma, always Brahman alone. Whether the body is present or not is irrelevant to him. Abhito Brahma Nirvanam Vartate Viditatmanam. I think we have concluded the shloka. Okay. Next 2 shlokas, 27, 28, we study together. I'll just give a little introduction. These 2 shlokas are introduction to the next chapter of meditation. Next chapter is a Dhyana Yoga. It talks of meditation, preparation, how to do. Entire 6th chapter discusses meditation alone. This is very important. After listening to Vedanta in the 5 chapters, I think we have come to the level of meditation. We need to learn now. So 6th chapter talks of meditation. Now the next shloka gives an introduction briefly. It talks of little meditation. Then the 6th chapter elaborately discusses. So in the next class, we start with that introduction to meditation and the meditation directly. What is it, how is it, and what is the purpose and all the details about it. Okay. The 6th chapter deals with that. And before that, there is a little introduction of Shankaracharya's Bhashyam also. All that we will cover. In fact, these 2 shlokas should have been included in the 6th chapter alone, because they give introduction to the 6th chapter. Anyway, for us it doesn't make any difference whether it is in 5th or 6th. We can take it, these 2 chapters, as giving a link to 6th and then also continuing with the 6th. Okay, we'll talk in the next shloka. I think next week we will not have, because you know, I think we have announced in our WhatsApp group, we have announced already that we are going to have Swamiji's Jayanti, Sachidanandendra Swamiji's Jayanti, from 15th to 21st, 1 week. So 15th Thursday to 21st Wednesday. So that time I think we will not have any of classes at all, because you will have our Karyalaya website. Karyalaya website is there on YouTube. There you will have talks from our Samadhi. You can listen to them all in Kannada. So next Sunday we will not have Gita. After 21st, then we will continue our things. I think I may make little changes in my talks. That I shall tell you. 21st, 22nd, I don't know whether we may have on 22nd. Some talk we will see. So remember this 15th to 21st, that is Guruvara, Thursday to Wednesday, we will have that Karyalaya talks, Jayanti. Various speakers will come. I will also speak. The inaugural talk will be mine, and also in Kannada only. Anyway, all the talks will be Kannada. And then others also speakers talk. And then Swamiji's Jayanti, Gondale Maharajar's Aradhana, and also Jnananandra Swamiji, Vittala Shastri's, all the three we will have the one Saptaha. It's a one full-fledged. I will be too busy. All our ashram is full with people and busy. Okay. And those who want to come, we are welcome. You can come and stay and attend here. Anyway, I think you all know you have been announced. Okay, so this 1 week, we will not have our talks here. We will have there alone. And after 21st, that is 22nd onwards, we shall continue. Okay, Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.